You ever just have one of those days? This is one for me. This is one of those days. I've been out here for 4 hours. I found this piece of wood that I got from Tuffy Martinez many years ago, actually. And he marked it as plum. And I did a little bit of trimming on it. And I don't think that's plum, Tuffy. I think that's some kind of oak. Maybe live oak. Although, in his defense, when you see it like this, it does kind of look like plum. I thought it was plum. But I did some trimming on it, and it ain't plum. It's got some really thick bark, doesn't it? Not amazing? Look at that bark. That's just bark. And that side looks like plum. Well, anyway. Then I saw that the bark was coming loose, so I put some CA under there, as you can see, trying to keep it together. I think that'll be a nice piece, but it's not going to be today's piece. So then I found this piece from Rick Chapman. I thought, okay, nice plum crotch, also plum, well, or is it? Rick says it's plum. He marked it plum. I'm going to take his word for it. It sure doesn't have any plum color, but okay, it's plum for now. So then I did some trimming on this as well. I rounded up these ends, kinda. And then I thought, well, this end is a lot higher than that end is. So I put it on my bandsaw like this, with this face against the fence. And I was going to saw off that higher part down here so that it would be more even. Not like me at all. I don't know why I did that. Well, I couldn't get through the cut. The bandsaw just couldn't do it. I think it bound up somehow. Anyway, so my cut stops here. So now what I'm gonna do, this is the piece we're gonna do today. I think. Well, actually it's gonna be tomorrow because now it's dang near 5:30. So now I'm going to set it on my drill press table and I'm going to shim up this side. I'm going to put a shim under here so that the top sets flat. Then I'm going to drill a flat spot for my chuck jaws to set against, and I'll drill a hole in the middle of that for my woodworm screw. I just can't believe my day. I haven't even got to the best part yet. And we'll get it mounted up and start turning. Well, the best part is, in putting the CA glue on this piece, I ran out of CA glue, although I had a second bottle. So the new bottle is just a piece of, it's just not good. It's not a good bottle. It had sticky stuff all over it. It wasn't glue, it was something else like tape residue or something, I don't know. I wanted to just transfer the new bottle into the old bottle because the old bottle's a nice one, had a nice fitting lid, it's all good. Well, why didn't that work? So I took the cap off the old bottle that's empty. I take the new bottle with the cut off spout and turn it upside down on there, and I squeeze like this. Squeeze it in there, and it was going good. It's going good. About half full, 3/4 full. Well, then it just overflowed, and I got glue, CA glue all over this hand. I mean, my fingers were sticking together. I had to pull my fingers apart. And I also got some on this hand. So I went in the house to wash it off with soap and water, because that's what the label says. If you get it on you, use soap and water. Well, I used soap and water, and I used a brush, and it didn't come off. And now it's like I don't have any, feeling in these fingertips, because all I'm feeling is glue. I'm not feeling skin. Anyway, so it didn't come off. It's all over here. It'll wear off. I'll live through it. It's kind of funny though, don't you think? Oh my gosh, what a day. So I'm going to go to the drill press and do what I said, shim this up, drill a flat spot, drill a hole, get it mounted up on the lathe, and go make dinner. So hang in there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, I almost said something else about Shady Acres. Or as we like to say here at Shady Acres Woodshop, howdy. Let's get to it. See you tomorrow. Okay, let's get this show on the road. We're going to be turning at 550 RPM, 5/8" bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. I needed to remove almost an inch from this side. You can see I haven't even touched the other side yet, but we're getting closer. So basically I'm just flattening it off and sort of tapering up the sides a little bit so that when it sets on the table it'll have a little lift to it. Nothing too dramatic. Something just went flying. Oh, that's my bandsaw cut. I thought it might come off of there and slap me, but it didn't. But it's coming off anyway. Well, I think I have to go sharpen up again. Did I get all that? I think I did. Bandsaw cut is gone. Okay, I'm gonna go sharpen up. See, this little branch section here sticks out way beyond the rest of the piece, so it's kind of hard to, when I'm out here I'm only hitting this part right here. Hard to get a smooth cut. Okay, that's probably about the best I can do. So let's lay out for our tenon or a recess. What's your choice? My pencil's getting too dang short to use it here. That doesn't look the right size to me. That does not look the right size. Yeah, too small. Well, shoot, I do have more of those pencils around here somewhere. I guess we'll make a recess. And I'm going to use this dovetail tool, recess tool, to put a dovetail on the sides here. Yep, that's good. Now I made it a little deeper than I needed to because I'm going to move some of the wood over here and make a base for this to set on. I better measure that, but I'm pretty sure it's what I need. A little tiny bit bigger than I need, but it's okay. That's about all I can do. Time for sanding. I'm going to start the sanding with my Sandoflex. This is 180 grit, and that's as fine as I will go. I'm going to sand all of the bark and this bark inclusion all the way around the top edge, a couple inches up, so that when I start working on the top, I don't mess up what I've done down here. So I'll put the finish on up an inch or two up on the bark as well as down here. When I'm done with that, I'll switch to my 2-inch disc starting at 80 grit and working up through 400. I'll have the lathe spinning in reverse for that at 380 RPM, and I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. I'll be doing a lot more of that, but that's generally what it looks like. And then because I have 3 ends here, here, and here, I'll be sanding those individually like this. So that adds quite a little bit of time to this situation. But I'll get it done. I'll bring you back when it's time to put some probably sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. Well, let's see what we got. I'm having a hard time with this being plum. I've turned quite a bit of plum and it's generally kind of purplish. We'll see how it finishes up here. This is sanding sealer I'm applying. Shellac based sanding sealer. It's called Zinsser Seal Coat. And then I'll put on 2 coats of this and 2 coats of shellac over it. Zinsser Shellac. And I buy those in a can ready to use. I don't mix it. I don't change it. I just use it right out of the can. And I'm telling you that just because I get asked all the time. Well, whatever it is, it's pretty. Could be plum. Just doesn't look like the plum that I'm used to. It's pretty wood. It's nice and smooth. Yeah, that looks nice, doesn't it? Looks nice to me. I even see a little chatoyance in here. Is that coming through? Okay, well that's what it's going to look like. I'll get another coat on, 2 coats of shellac. I'll bring you back and we'll start working on the top side. Oh, I better say this too because I also get asked this all the time. Why don't you show the shellac? Because it looks exactly like this. No difference at all. I use a brush and a rag. That's it. I don't change anything. I use a different rag, a different brush. And speaking of brush, I'm going to be brushing the bark up here, but you won't be able to see that. Anyway, I don't show it because it looks just like this. No difference at all. See you in a bit. Got a beautiful finish on the outside of this piece. I'm excited for that. I have the chuck jaws expanded into the recess. This little nub, I really love it, and I want to be able to keep it. And I think we're not only able to, but we're forced to. Because if I stay right here, we'll run off the edge, or come close to running off the edge. And kind of the same over here. So we get to keep that. That's a good thing. I think we can still get a decent sized bowl out of this. And I'm excited to get cracking, so let's do that. We're going to be turning at 560 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. think we're probably pretty close there. Yeah, we'll stick with that for a little bit, see how we do here when I get down there. Oh yeah, I had one other concern. Well, where'd it go? Right here. I could see more of it before. I don't know if you can see this little line right here. That's reflected on the bottom as well. Yeah, it comes clear over here. There was a line right through there. Well, that's where that bark inclusion is on the bottom. I think we're gonna miss it, kinda. I think we're gonna stay inside of it. I just didn't want it splitting this whole thing off of here. So I think we're okay. Now we've got plenty of space here and here. I can still come out just another 1/8 of an inch or so. Yep, that'll do the size. We have about 1 inch total to the bottom of the recess. You know, I'm gonna go sharpen up. Probably only took a 1/4 inch away. Let's see. A little more. We're down about a 1/2 inch. Wonder if I can pick the speed up any. Not much. About 572. I think we must be about there. Yep, 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm going to put a fresh burr on my scraper and we'll scrape. I've shown this many times, but I'll show it again. Not everybody watches every video, and we probably have some new folks. I grind this at 36 degrees on my grinder, 36 degrees top and bottom, and in between I can about 3, 4, 5 times I can do this. Just take a round shank screwdriver, find the bevel, lift up off of the heel of the bevel onto the toe, apply a little pressure with my thumb, and raise a burr on that edge, that top edge, and that burr is what does your cutting for you. You don't have to be extremely accurate, you just need to apply pressure right under this sharp edge, right under that. And what you're doing is you're bending the steel up. That thin edge, actually easy to bend the steel up. And so that's what I did. Okay, time for sanding. I'm starting the sanding at 80 grit and working up through 400. I've got the lathe spinning at 380 RPM, both forward and reverse. I'll bring you back here in a bit and we'll put some sanding sealer in there. See you in a bit. Before we get going here, I get asked all the time, how do I clean my brushes? What do I do with my rags? Well, this is what I do with them after every time I use them. I put the brush down here at the bottom, I put my rag in here, I zip the bag about 2/3 closed, I lay it down, I roll it up really tight to get all the air out of it. I finish zipping it, and I've been using this rag for, my guess is at least 2 months, maybe 3. And I've been using this brush for maybe 2 months, and it just stays nice. And I've got bags for all the, well, I only use 2 finishes mostly anymore, so I've got a bag for each sanding sealer and one for shellac. I think I have another couple of bags for different things, but I don't really use those other finishes anymore. Anyway, so that's how I do it, and it just lasts and lasts and lasts, and when it finally gives out, like this one, this is probably the last time I'll use this one. It's got some holes in it, and I noticed when I did the outside of this bowl, there was some cloth stuck that I had to pick off, so about the end of the road for the rag. You know when it's time, either when it wears out like this or when it gets so saturated, you take your finish and put it on there and it just doesn't soak in, it just sits there. That's the time to get rid of it. So that's how that part works. Let's see what this looks like. It feels nice, I can tell you that. Silky smooth. And you see some chatoyance here, don't you? Yeah, I do anyway. Feather from the crotch, from this branch coming out here. And I said the bark was done, and it was, but now I kind of messed it up a little bit here and there with sanding, so I'm gonna kind of touch it up a little bit. I don't need a brush this time. I didn't get it deep, I just sort of brushed against it with my sanding disc now and then. But there, that looks better already. So the deal is, if you forgot, 2 coats of sanding sealer, 2 coats of shellac, put on just like this, and I'll bring you back and we will take a good look at this thing sitting upright. There you go. See you in a little bit. Well, here it is. One Plum bowl in the books. I'm not so sure it's Plum. Maybe Rick will chime in and say, yeah, that's Plum. That's definitely Plum. Or maybe he'll say, oh yeah, that's not Plum, that's whatever. So I didn't sign it, and I didn't put what kind of wood on there. Actually, I like that look as much as anything, actually this way. The reason I like it is because it'll stand on this end, on this bottom end, it'll stand right up. So you can store it that way and use it as a bowl when you want to, or set it on a shelf somewhere. But it stands right up all on its own. And I really like that, and it's quite stable when it does that. This is my favorite look here. I think that's the front. I'm glad we were able to keep that little knob. Actually, we had to keep that little knob or we would have run off the edge. It's got a real nice finish. It's real smooth everywhere you touch. Feels good. The ends did not get turned. They're just, they're bandsaw, my bandsaw cuts and then sanded up. And I left that part so that it's flat, and that's how it stands up. But it's not obvious that it's flat. It looks pretty rounded. I don't see any critters in here, or people's faces or anything. I do see some nice feather in the corner here at the crotch of the piece. Nice feather grain. It's a nice piece. Candy dish, change dish, utility dish, or stand it up and make it art. Your choice. I like it. It was fun to turn. I wish I could have turned faster, but I couldn't, and it turned out perfectly anyway. Let me know what you think. Thank you, Rick Chapman, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please, I'd sure appreciate it. I also appreciate that you've spent so much of your time with me today. That means a lot to me, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to your comments. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.